All right, hello. Welcome to the middle of the week. So you're wrapping up week 3 and then jumping into week 4. I just kind of wanted to do a quick touch base, and now that you're hopefully kind of getting into the groove of things, talk about a few things that you may already know or didn't know as you are navigating through your course materials. So real fast, the first thing that I want to say is make sure that you are checking your grades. So over here on the left-hand side in this toolbar, you'll see this option right here that says My Grades. When you click on that, it's going to give you all of the different assignments that are going to happen throughout the semester. And then over here, you should see a grade associated with everything for week 1 and week 2. So everything's been graded up until the week 2 materials. I encourage you to check and see if you're getting the maximum points for specific assignments. So if you come in here and you notice that I put a 0 for your Blackboard badge, but you know that you submitted it, you'll see a little icon here that allows you to view any feedback. Oftentimes what happens is you think you've submitted something and it was submitted in the wrong format or nothing was submitted. And so you do want to come here and just take a quick look and make sure that you are maximizing your points. Real fast, I do want to talk about discussion boards. So discussion boards, I also leave feedback here as well. So if you're wondering why you didn't get the maximum amount of points, you can go in and view the feedback. And then I do use a rubric to grade those discussion boards. So if you're wondering, like, how do I maximize my points? A lot of it has to do with addressing all of the questions that are being asked of you within the discussion board, and then to respond to those 3 peers. So if you're seeing a 10 out of 20, it's likely because you didn't respond to at least 3 of your peers. But definitely click on that feedback, because I do try to go in and make sure that I'm giving you very specific feedback so that you know how to maximize your points. It's never my goal to hide how to do well in this class. It really is my goal to help you achieve an A, if that is your goal for the semester. And in order to do that, I do like to leave very specific feedback. If you see a 0 related to something where you uploaded like a PDF or maybe a screenshot of something, but you saved it in the wrong format. So a lot of you that use Apple products, it automatically saves it as a .heic document. And you do want to make sure that you go in and convert that to a PDF or a Word document so that I can actually view that. So make sure that you take the time to do that. You may see a 0 listed there, but then you will see a little comment that says this was saved as a .heic document. Please convert to a PDF or a Word document and email me so that I can go back in and update your grade. I do know that it can be a little tricky as you're navigating that right out of the gate. The other thing that I just want to preview here is week 4. So week 4 does open tonight at midnight. Remember, your odd weeks are due on Wednesdays and your even weeks are due on Saturdays. So hopefully you're starting to kind of get used to the pace. It is fast, like I've told you several times. It is fast, but I do try to maintain some level of consistency. So week 4, you've got your weekly checklist out here. I did just want to give a couple of quick highlights of some things that are out here in week 4 so that you can prepare for it. The very first thing is you will finish chapter 7. And Michael Pollan has this habit of, at the end of a unit, really trying to encapsulate it all with a meal. So just know that with that meal, you're going to eat in the spirit of what we've just been discussing for the last couple of modules, which is this idea around corn. It was really fun for me to grade your week 2 conversations around what you found in your pantry and the instances of corn and how it really is in several parts of our Western diet. And when you look at especially highly processed foods, you do see that corn makes an appearance in a whole lot of different ways. And I think a lot of people don't realize that corn is a very big part of our Western diet. And as we kind of look at that from the holistic perspective, we might be asking ourselves, like, is that maybe the cause of obesity? Is this idea around high fructose corn syrup and utilizing corn to really process food that really maybe shouldn't have been processed in the first place? And so You're going to finish the corn unit. You're going to be sick of talking about corn, but the intent of finishing the corn unit is also a meal. And Paulin goes through, I think, this great visual of enjoying a meal at McDonald's. And he really tries to live in that spirit of how can I figure out where corn makes an appearance in my meal. And he actually goes as far as using a mass spectrometer, which we use in a lot of like food chemistry, to actually go through and figure out what levels of corn make it into the food that he's eating. Now, obviously you don't have to go to that level, but just know that as you finish chapter 7, you will be talking about a meal that you would prepare in the spirit of corn, right? So maybe you decide to prepare a chicken salad on bread. And so corn makes the appearance in the chicken because the chicken was fed corn in order to fatten it up to get it to slaughter. The cheese that you put on it could be produced from a dairy cow that was consuming corn while she was lactating. You may eat it on a piece of bread, which that bread probably has some high fructose corn syrup or makes an appearance of corn within that process as well, depending on what bread you eat. So you're really just going to kind of go through and say, this is the meal that I would prepare, and then these are the instances that corn makes an appearance. So just know going into this discussion board that you really do want to think about that and really synthesize all of that information that we've learned about corn and really try to encapsulate that in your final thoughts for that discussion board. For this week, you're going to do part 1 of your signature assignment, which is the class cookbook. We're going to talk a little bit more about this throughout the weeks, but your class cookbook is really 2 parts. The first part is for you to share more information about yourself. So make sure that you are following the guidelines around this bibliography and answering all of these questions. And then make sure you're also enclosing a picture so that we can see who you are within the class cookbook. So please follow those guidelines so that we can include that in our class cookbook. The other thing is you're also going to upload your avatar. So we give you some little tutorial examples here on how to do this. It's really quite simple. You don't need to upload anything to show me that you've completed your avatar. When I go through and grade your bibliography, that will be how I know that you've also gone in and created your avatar, uploaded your picture for that piece of the assignment. And then the last thing is, as a CWID student, we do ask that students complete this pretest. So over on the left-hand side, you're going to notice there's a little navigation tool here that does say CWID pretest, and it's going to take you out to a test that you can launch. And this is really for us to better understand you as a student and the various things that you plan on doing during your time here at CWI, what resources you feel connected to, maybe what things you feel like you need in terms of assistance from the institution or your home status and things like that. So you will want to complete that pretest so that we can gather that information. It does help us in these first semester experience classes to just know and better understand you. The very last thing that I just want to go over real fast is remember you do have an embedded tutor this semester. His name is Anthony. He's been engaging with you in the discussion boards. He also has a discussion board out there that he's monitoring for any questions that you might have. And I did create a little learning module here that's just got some helpful tips from Anthony. So he's posted 2 things here that are hopefully helpful for you. The first one is really how to enhance your discussion board posts so you can maximize those points that are required for your discussion board. And then the last one is a little note about time management. So you're finishing up your time management assignment and probably realizing that there is enough time in the day. It really just comes down to how we utilize that time and what we waste our time on. So I really encourage you to take a look at some of these helpful tips to Really look at some of these things. This very number 3, doing your assignments early, I think is really critical. You never know when your computer might go down, your internet might not be working, and if you're waiting until the last minute, those things can hit you a little harder than you would have expected. So doing those assignments early on, or even just logging into your Blackboard course and looking at that weekly checklist right when it opens so that you know what kind of effort you're going to have to put in for that week's material. So some really helpful tips there related to time management from Anthony that I would encourage you to take a look at, especially as you're finishing up your time management assignment. So as always, let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Like I said, week 4 is going to be opening tonight at midnight and is due on Saturday. Make sure that you get in those 3 replies to your peers on your discussion boards so that you can maximize your credit, and make sure you complete everything that you need to for week 3, which is due tonight. I hope you're all having a wonderful summer, enjoying the warm weather. I will say that the trip on the river was fantastic. I actually got snowed on, which was not really that fun, but then we hiked back to a hot spring, and so it kind of made up for it. So I hope you're all finding some little things that you can go out and enjoy this summer.